Hey guys, what's up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. The first review of the year is for Night Swim. Now, Night Swim is a new Blumhouse horror film where we follow a family called the Wallers as they move into a new house, which is completely normal, but their new pool in the backyard is haunted, and they don't know that until later on into the movie. So, yeah, if there are two things that don't go super well together, it's horror movies and January. But that wasn't always the case, as last year we had Megan, which was one of the best horror movies to come out in 2023. And we had Scream 5, which came out in 2022, again, one of the best horror films of that year. So there is occasionally those horror movie gems that actually do manage to have effort put into them and not just dunked out in January because, well, it's the start of the new year, so let's just get the crap out of the way first. And unfortunately, this isn't really one of those movies. It's not the worst film to come out in January. I mean, the concept alone could actually be very unique had it been given to the right people behind the film. Now, look, the actors are good. They're good in the movie. Wyatt Russell does try his very best in the film, and the way they play out his character, he used to be a baseball player, which he kind of still is, but he's been going through health issues. But this pool magically makes him feel better and have more energy than ever to get back out there. That was probably the most interesting part of the whole thing. The rest of the movie honestly just felt pretty dull. Like, a lot of the times the movie just takes place, like, not at nighttime. I mean, there are moments of nighttime, as we saw in the trailer, but throughout a lot of the movie, it just tends to be very predictable. Like, when there's one person in the water, you know exactly what's going to come up. There's going to be a jump scare, like something's going to happen to them. They're probably going to get dragged down to the pool or something. It just felt like, yeah, we know exactly where this is going. And it tries building up suspense, but it's often ruined because we know exactly what's going to happen. It didn't really feel entirely suspenseful. In fact, throughout the first hour, it just felt like not a whole lot of stuff happens except, giving you ideas of what to expect because there are things happening around this pool. And we do see like little bits of the thing that's actually inside the pool, but it doesn't really make the film all the more scarier because, well, we knew there was something in the pool. I can say the most interesting part was probably the last act. And I will say what was kind of unique is that, for a horror film like this, it does have some unique underwater visuals because there are times where they go super deep in the water because it's like a bottomless pit down there most of the time. So yeah, that was kind of cool to see, but there is a unique concept behind this whole thing, but it often plays out just a little bit too silly because it's really not that scary. It's just if you took a haunted house movie and replaced it with a haunted pool. That's basically all I can say about this movie. It has a family moves into a house, and a part of that house is haunted, and the part of the house is the pool. That's the best way I can describe it. And at least it's not overly long, too. I mean, the movie does tend to try to get you interested just for the one character alone, but oftentimes it just felt like it was just going way too slow. And while the last act of the movie was the most interesting part, it really wasn't worth it in the end because, this is not the type of movie that I can see myself rewatching. And there isn't any moments of cheese either, which is kind of disappointing to see because if the movie's going to be boring, at least have some entertainingly stupid moments. And that really wasn't the case. I mean, there might be a couple just for the creatures that come out, but it didn't do much for me. In the end, guys, Night Swim is pretty generic for the most part. I mean, it has a unique concept behind it, but it often just plays off as either dull or just very weak. It has one concept to one of the characters that I felt like was interesting, but I feel like the way that plays out towards the end it honestly could have been handled so much better. Good acting doesn't really save it that much either, but hey, I can't really say they did a whole lot to this movie that tries to make it fully creepy because it's not really creepy in terms of scares it tries to give. It just has, the cliche jump scares that we've seen many times and, the cliche family moving into a house, but some part of the house is haunted. It's very predictable, and yeah. Also, I should mention they do research on the pool later on. Also, an animal dies in the movie. Can we just stop having that in horror movies? Because that's not scary. That's just depressing. It makes me really thankful that Eli Roth spared a cat in his latest horror film. So can we just, please, just stop with that? You know, they tried, but this is honestly something I probably wouldn't want to dive into again. It's a shame that we're kind of back at this route again, but, you know, the month just started, so then again, I don't know any other horror films coming out this month that are. But you know, we still got The Beekeeper, we got Mean Girls. There's still hope for this month. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.